Welcome to InkThinks. If you've been listening around Super Smash Bros. Speculation circles lately, then you probably wouldn't be surprised to know that I'm talking about Fortnite today. So much speculation going on right now regarding leaks or comments or lack of comments surrounding Fortnite, especially concerning rumors of whether or not it's coming to Smash. And while there's a lot of people with really strong opinions on both sides about whether or not it is or isn't coming, or if it is coming, whether or not it would or wouldn't be cool, I want to save that for another video and instead today take a step back and talk about what the addition of Fortnite would mean for the culture of Smash Bros. Now, even just the subject of Fortnite gets a lot of people really charged in the Smash community. People often cite how fiercely against the idea they are, but every now and then I also see some people who are deeply in favor of it. But why is Fortnite of all things such a controversial pick? Well, I think it breaks down into a few different factors. First of all is the factor of novelty. All things considered, Fortnite is a relatively new game, hitting its stride in 2017. That means now, in 2020, it's only really been going strong for about 3 years, which really isn't a ton of time when you compare it to other newcomers to Smash Bros. Taking a look at the other DLC, for example, even the newest characters have a series older than them, with the exception of Steve, who happens to be from the best-selling game of all time. Now, when Fortnite is held against these, it obviously stands out. I mean, Dragon Quest is pretty well established, Persona's well established, and when you get Fortnite, sure, it's really big right now, but it doesn't have the same legacy to be able to stand up to other series in Smash. I think this contention really comes down to how you view Super Smash Bros. Some people want to view Smash Bros. As a museum for gaming's greatest hits throughout generations. That's why we have characters like Duck Hunt, Mario, but also Sonic and Mega Man, who can easily hold their own against bigger titles. But when you get the additions of newer titles like ARMS, Bayonetta, or potentially Fortnite, it makes their inclusion feel a little cheapened. Now, I'm not trying to say that any of these games are inherently undeserving of a spot in Smash, because frankly, I don't think they are. I think that this just hints at a different view of Super Smash Bros. That Nintendo is really going to have to decide which one they side with. The first view, like I mentioned, is viewing it as a museum for the greatest hits throughout gaming, but the second view, and the one that I think Nintendo might be going for some more, is a celebration of modern gaming, as if it's almost a snapshot in time that people can look back on Smash Bros. And see it as almost some sort of time capsule for what gaming really looked like in 2020. That's why it really makes sense to me that we're getting characters like Steve, or Mii costumes like Sans and Cuphead, and it wouldn't really surprise me if we got Freddy Fazbear as a Mii costume, or if we ended up getting Jonesy as a Mii costume or a playable character. A lot of people cringe at this idea because, like I said, it works against their so-called museum style of viewing Smash, which I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with, but I also think that it's important to recognize that Nintendo is in a pivotal time of their history. This DLC is really going to set the tone for the game, whether or not they have that museum view or the snapshot view. And while the view of Smash is one factor into how people would view Fortnite in the game, I think it's a bit high level for what we're talking about today. Much more often, I hear people cite cringe as a reasoning rather than a specific view of Smash Bros. For me, the cringe argument is a lot deeper than it may seem. When people talk about cringe characters, they almost always, to me, seem to be newly established characters or indie characters. When people mention characters like Goku, Shrek, or I don't know, Mickey Mouse, obviously they're not getting into Smash, but people don't really cringe at the idea, they rather dismiss it as a meme. But with characters like Jonesy from Fortnite, Tracer from Overwatch, or a Five Nights at Freddy's rep, people really just seem to have an adverse reaction to it. And this cringe, I honestly don't think is something inherent to the characters themselves. Rather, it's inherent to where the characters are coming from as far as their timeline in gaming. Almost every cringe character I hear coming up comes from this newer generation of gaming from like the 2000s on. And while I don't think it's a reflection on the characters themselves, I do think that it's a reflection on a new generation of Smash gamers growing up, while Smash still kind of tries to stay with the same demographic and new players grow into the game. Here's what I mean. In the early days of Brawl, I think a lot of these newer characters would really seem like cringe picks. For example, the Mii fighters, or new Fire Emblem reps from Newfound Games, or ARMS, which didn't exist then, but you get my point. They would all be new characters, and players at the time, especially Melee players, seemed really adverse to it. In fact, Melee players were really adverse to a lot of the new characters coming to the game. They thought, what? Why do we need all these newfound characters in my Smash Bros game? It was good how it is, let's get some cool older reps and not need to worry about newfound ones. which I think is where a lot of disappointment with Smash 4 came in, seeing newcomers from the Melee crowd. Now, obviously, we can look back at their so-called cringe at these characters I just mentioned and say, well, it's not that they were cringy, they're just past your time, or you're just being an elitist or something like that. But I think a lot of times we lack that self-awareness to realize we're doing that same sort of gatekeeping. When we position newfound reps like Freddy or Steve or Jonesy even as cringe picks, I don't know, to me it really is the same kind of vibe as those Melee players back in the days of Brawl or Smash 4 complaining about the newfound characters on their slot. We're all growing up, whether we like it or not, and Nintendo can't necessarily afford to follow its older generations without appealing to the new ones. With the addition of the Mii costumes, we can see that they are trying to include newer franchises into Smash, but a lot of times that's really difficult to accept when it might apply to a new character. So while we don't know for sure if Jonesy's getting into the game, or if he is in what capacity, I think it's important to take a step back and look at what that really means. I don't think that it means that Nintendo is giving into cringe picks or Nintendo doesn't know how to choose characters. In all actuality, it probably just means we're growing up, and there's a new generation of gaming coming behind us who is going to love seeing these characters in the game. Just like we loved seeing some of our newfound characters. For example, I was stoked to see Mega Man added to Smash 4. I grew up playing his games and it was so cool to see him come to the game. And I don't really have that same sort of attachment to any characters that could be added from a new generation of gaming, but there are thousands and thousands of gamers out there who have an entirely different story. They would feel that same kind of hype with Freddy Fazbear, with Jonesy from Fortnite, or really any of these new gaming picks. And I don't think that it's my place or our place to tell Nintendo that they're wrong for trying to appeal to that. Obviously, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But for me, I've kind of had my share of these characters that I'm thrilled to see come to the game, and while picks like Jonesy might not be the most meaningful to me, I could be really appreciative of the kind of thrill and hype that they would bring to a brand new generation of players who get that same sort of foundational thrill when they see their favorite characters that they've grown up playing come to the game. So by all means, have your own list of most wanted characters, and feel no pressure to like newer characters like Steve or Jonesy or whoever may come to the game. But I would just encourage all of us to try to take a step back and think about what these characters might feel like for the other demographics that Smash is trying to reach. And I think doing that, we can all understand why it's happening. But I don't know, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. This is kind of a new style of video for me, and I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I'm more ranting than anything else. So let me know what you think of the format in the comments down below. Click the video on the right to see my thoughts on Waluigi in Smash, or click the video on the left to see something that YouTube handpicked just for you. Please feel free to subscribe to see more content coming in the future. I have a full final analysis of Jonesy coming in a couple of days. Feel free to come talk to me on my Discord using the link in the description, and whatever you do, don't hit the hidden link in the description. Until next time, stay smashing.